Okay, Rambam. We're learning, finishing off today, actually, the laws of Kiddush HaChodesh, the laws of sanctifying the new month. Okay. Um, Chapter 18. Today's learning is in honor of Yahrzeit of my father, 47th Yahrzeit, Aryeh, the son of Yaakov Halevi, and for Refuah Shlema, a complete and full recovery for Herel ben Netta for Refuah Shlema.
Amen.
Okay, so halacha number one. It is well known and obvious that although the calculations indicate that the moon should be sighted in a particular night, its sighting is only probable. Right? It's not definitive. It is, however, also possible that they not be sighted because it's covered by clouds, because of the place where it could be sighted is in a valley, or because it was in a tall mountain in the west, blocking the view of the people in the place from where it could be sighted, and it will be as if they are in a valley, right? So, it could be blocked. Many different possibilities. Last night, as a matter of fact, some people said Kiddush HaChodesh, because you could see the sun, and others, it was, we didn't say Kiddush HaChodesh because it was visible but not so clear at the time later on in the evening. Right? For the moon will not be able to be sighted by a person in a low place, even if the crescent is large. Conversely, it will be possible for a person on high in a lofty mountain to sight the moon, even though its crescent is very small. Similarly, sighting it will be possible for a person dwelling on a seashore or a person traveling on a ship on the Mediterranean, even though its crescent is very small. So, where you find yourself will very much pending on what you're going to be able to see, right? Similarly, in a rainy season or on a clear day, the visibility of the moon will be greater than it is on the summer. For on a clear day in the rainy season, the air is clear and the heavens appear more brilliant because there is no dust clouding the air. In the summer, by contrast, the air is like smoke because of the dust. Therefore, the moon will appear small. Wow. Interesting. When the two limits mentioned with regard to the arc of the sighting of the first longitude are short, the crescent of the moon will be small, and the sighting of the moon will be possible only from a very high altitude. At the arc of the sighting of the first longitude are long rather than short, and several degrees were added to their minimal limits, the moon will appear large, as we see ourselves different times of the year.
So which part of the year it looks largest? In the winter or in the summer? In the summer, huh? In the summer, because um, it's warmer, that means we are closer to the sun. In the winter, we're further away, obviously it would look more
Right,
warm.
we're
That
closer.
makes sense.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's where is it in the arc? Where is it in the arc? So if it's right here, then even though it might be closer, the moon might be closer, but being that it's here, I'm not going to be able to see it as well as if it was further, but it was up here, right?
Are you referring to the horizon?
Talking about the moon. Where is the moon? Yeah, sometimes the moon. Sometimes don't you see? Sometimes the moon, like you look at it, it's like right in front of you. It's right in front of you, right? And sometimes it's way up above. So we're talking about the first of the month, so you're only seeing a sliver, right? Not the full month, the full moon, right in the middle of the month. That's what we're talking about. So it's not necessarily, just how clear things are, but it's also where is the moon found at that particular month, right? By the way, here's going to be different in Jerusalem because we're not the same longitude and latitude, right? So it'll be on a different, everything that we learned over here was based on Jerusalem, right? Only because the only importance of this is for the witnesses that they could see it, and therefore the sages need to know when is it possible, when is it not possible. So they need to know based on Jerusalem, longitude and latitude, Jerusalem, the surrounding area, right? It was up to, I think,
So it
6.
said here, the moon appears to be larger when it's on the horizon due to
Right.
perceptional trick.
Right.
It's not really different distance, but it appears larger when it's closer to the horizon. Our
Right.
brain
Exactly.
misjudge the distance of object near the horizon, making the moon appear bigger than it actually is.
Right.
But I wanted to know what time of the year. It doesn't say that.
I don't know. Okay, its size and extends visibility will increase according to the length of the arc, the sighting of the first longitude. Okay. Therefore, the court should always have its attention focused on the following two matters. A, the season when the moon was sighted, right? Because that will depend on then where is it and what part of the arc, right? And what is the possibility of seeing it, right? And second, the places witnesses were located. The judge should ask the witness, where were you when you saw the moon? Why? For if the arc sighting was short, and according to calculations, there was only a limited opportunity to see the moon, more care has been taken regarding their testimony. For example, the arc was sighting was 9 degrees and 5 minutes. The first longitude was exactly 13 degrees, and the witnesses came claiming that they saw the moon. If this occurs in the summer, or if the witnesses were located in a low place, we suspect the veracity of the testimony and subject them to much cross-examination, right? Because the moon is lower, right? That's what he's saying here. The moon is lower in the summer, right? So you don't have much, it's not above you so much. It's lower, right? So we suspect their veracity because, you know, the arc is it's a limited one, right? Of how much you're going to be able to perceive. So therefore, they go through a much greater cross-examination. In the rainy season or in the very high place, under such circumstances, the moon would surely be sighted unless clouds obscured it. So then, if it wasn't cloudy, and we knew it wasn't cloudy, right? And sages know what's going on. So then they don't need to be cross-examined as strongly, right? Okay, so let us examine a hypothetical situation. Witnesses saw the new moon at the appropriate time. Right. We know it's appropriate time. How do we know? How do they know it's appropriate time? Because they know exactly when the emergence of the new moon is. They know exactly where it's also meant to emerge, right? The court accepted their testimony, sanctified the first month. Afterwards, they counted 29 days from the day that they sanctified. On the night of the 30th, the moon was not sighted, either because sighting it was impossible or because it was covered by clouds. The court waited the entire 30th day, as we have explained, but the witness did not arrive. So now what? Therefore, they added a day to the month, and thus Rosh Chodesh in the second month was the 31st day, as explained. But what happened if witnesses would have come that day, let's say in the afternoon? Would have made Rosh Chodesh on the 30th day. But witnesses didn't come, right? So that means the 30th day belongs to the previous month. And that, right? That month is a 30-day month. And now Rosh Chodesh is going to be on the 31st day. That will be the new month, right? Is that clear? Now, they began to count 29 from the day of Rosh Chodesh, the second month. But moon was not sighted. What's the problem now? What's the problem? Having 2 months in a row, 30 days, is a problem. Why? Because the new moon, in actuality, is every 29 days. 11 hours and 48 minutes, right? 48 minutes, right? which means give or take, 29 and a half days. So now if you're going to make 2 months in a row, extra day, then you're really off, right? So let's see what Rambam says. So you again add a day to add it to the month. The following day would be the 30th of the month, and the 31st would be Rosh Chodesh of the third month. An undesirable situation would arise. For it's impossible that the moon would not be sighted on the night of the 30th of this month as well. Thus, hypothetically, we could see an ongoing pattern in which a day is added and a new month begins after the 30 days throughout the year. Thus, the last month, it would be possible that the moon would be sighted on the 25th day or the night of the 26th. There could be no more ludicrous and demeaning situation than this. So imagine, right? Because let's say the moon it was always cloudy on that day, and you couldn't sight the moon month after month. So you're always having 30 days of a month, which you can. That's ludicrous, right? Then you're going to have after several months, all of a sudden it's not cloudy, and you're going to see the month on the 25th, 5 days early. Can't have a month of 25 days. So, right? So that's hypothetically what could happen, right? Number 7. Nor can one say that the hypothetical situation described that the moon is never sighted throughout the year is an infrequent occurrence and need not be concerned. In other words, you can't say that. It could be that there could be, that you're not going to see the moon sighted, punkt, when you need to see it, right? Because remember also on the first day of the month, how big is it? Very small. Last night when you did Kiddush HaChodesh, it was already the 6th, the night of the 7th. Wasn't it the night of the 1st? So it was formidable. But if you did it, mamish, like it's such a small sliver, right? That of course, if it's cloudy and it doesn't have to be that cloudy even, that you wouldn't be able to observe it. The contrary is also true. It's very likely to take place, and this often occurs in countries that have long rainy seasons and cloudy skies. But the intent is not that the moon will never be seen throughout the year, but it will not be sighted at the beginning of the month and will be sighted only afterwards. Our concern is not in the middle of the month that you see the moon, big deal. Who cares? That's not helping us to sanctify the month, right? But it could happen in rainy seasons that the beginning of every month could be that it's rainy. Yeah, all you need is for that one day every month. And it's rainy season, it could very well happen that way, right? So in certain months, it will not be sighted because sighting it is impossible. And then in these months when sighting it is impossible, it is possibly not to have been sighted because of the clouds. Or because of its crescent, it was very small. And no one focused his attention on sighting it. So what do we have over here? So these difficulties were avoided through the following tradition, which existed among our sages, having transmitted from one another in a chain extending back to Moshe, our teacher. So we have a tradition, therefore. When the moon was not sighted at the beginning of the months, month after month, the court established the following sequence: one full month with 30 days, one lacking month with 29 days. In this manner, they would calculate the established one full month and one lacking month, establishing these months, but not sanctifying them. For sanctification of the months is dependent solely on the sighting of the moon. So they would make it that way, right? In as much as we have the calendar, right? But he wouldn't sanctify it because the Torah says sanctification has to be done by witnesses. By witnesses coming, giving testimony, and the Sanhedrin, the court of law, declaring it. By their declaration, that makes it indeed Rosh Chodesh. But the calculation, they would do 29:30, 29:30, 29:30, right? It would always go on that calculation. But the sanctification would be with the witnesses. At times, it would have full month follow another full month, or lacking month following another lacking month, depending on the results of the calculations. The intent of their calculation is always that it is possible to sight the moon in the following month in its proper time, or the night following that added day, but not to sight it beforehand. on the night of the 28th. So through the sighting of the calculations mentioned above, it's possible for you to determine when it will be possible for the moon to be sighted and when it is possible for it not to be sighted. The court relies on the similar calculations and accordingly establishes 2 full months in succession and 2 lacking months in succession. Never there be fewer than 4 full months. Should there be fewer than 4 full months in a year? Or should there ever be more than 8 full months? So here, right? They never, full months meaning 30 days, right? Should never be less than 4, never more than 8. So there will be a balance, right? When a full month is established according to the calculations in a celebratory feast is also made in honor of the full months, as mentioned previously in chapter 3. Halacha 7. I thought any time we did that. Okay, number 10. Whenever you find statements in the Talmud according to which it appears that the court relies on computations rather than testimony of the witnesses, or that there is a chain or of tradition extending from Moshe to at Sinai. Now, this matter has been entrusted to them, and it is a decision whether to make the month lacking or full, and similar to the fact that during 1 year, Rabbi Yehuda Anasi declared 9 months as lacking. These and all similar matters are dependent on the principle and apply at the time when the moon is not sighted at the appropriate time. Okay. Similar statements to sages that the day is added to the month when necessary applies in an instance when a full month is declared according to the calculations, that 1 month is made lacking, another made full. They have the authority to declare full months in succession, one after another, and lacking months in succession. Only when the moon is not seen at the appropriate time does the court declare full months when necessary. Whenever the moon is seen at the appropriate time, its first shining and its conjunction with the sun, it is always sanctified. All of the above concepts apply when there is a court that relies on testimony of witnesses. In the present day, by contrast, we rely solely on calculations based on the mean motion of the moon, of the sun rather, and the moon, that are simple and widespread throughout Israel, as explained previously in the previous laws, chapter 6. It is explained in text astronomical and geometrical calculations that if the moon is sighted in Eretz Yisrael, it will be sighted in all the lands of the world that are located west of Eretz Yisrael and are in the same latitude. Right? It needs the same latitude, right? This way. But west of Eretz Yisrael. If the calculations indicate that the moon will not be sighted in Eretz Yisrael, sighting it is nevertheless possible in those lands in the west of Eretz Yisrael and at the same latitude. Therefore, the fact that the moon is sighted in a country that lies west of Eretz Yisrael is not an indication that west of it country west of that is not an indication of whether the moon will be sighted in Eretz Yisrael. Right. Just because you can see it outside Eretz Yisrael doesn't mean you'll see it in Eretz Yisrael, west of Eretz Yisrael. If, however, the moon is not sighted in the mountains and the country is located west of Eretz Yisrael, it's the same that they are in the same latitude. The moon surely is not sighted in Eretz Yisrael. Similarly, if the moon was not sighted, hold on 1 second. Okay, last halacha. Oh no, 2 more. Okay, let's finish off over here. Similarly, the moon is not sighted, was not sighted in Eretz Yisrael. It's certainly not sighted in those countries east of Eretz Yisrael, and at the same time, at the same latitude. Because east means it came up first. So what does that mean? It means it came up. Coming up smaller. I think that's what it means. If the moon was sighted in Eretz Yisrael, however, it's not with certainty whether it would be sighted in those easterly lands. It may be sighted and it may not be sighted because of the clouds and different things, right? Accordingly, if the moon was sighted in a country located on the east of Eretz Yisrael in the same latitude, the moon was surely sighted in Eretz Yisrael. However, the moon was not sighted in a country that lies east of Eretz Yisrael. Is not in is not an indication the moon will not be sighted in Eretz Yisrael. On the contrary, it's possible to be sighted in Eretz Yisrael. Okay. All the above statements apply with the countries west of and east of Eretz Yisrael that are on the same latitude of Eretz Yisrael, which is between 30 and 35 degrees north of the equator. If they are located in a more northerly position or in a less northerly position, yeah. If they are located in a more northerly position or in a less northerly position, different principles apply, for they are not parallel with Eretz Yisrael. In the cities that are located in the east and west of the Eretz Yisrael, the statements were made concerning the sighting of the moon are of abstract interest only to clarify all the laws regarding the sighting of the moon, to make the Torah great and glorious. The intent is not that people living in the east and west should depend on their sighting of the moon, or that the sighting should be of any consequence whatsoever. Instead, we rely only on sanctification of the moon performed in the court in Eretz Yisrael, as we explained several times previously. So why did he do all this about what's on the east and the west? It doesn't matter for halacha. It's just showing Torah teachings, to magnify and glorify it. Okay, we're going to stop here. Thank you.